The launch business is incredibly exciting. It is probably one of the most nerve-wracking industries as well. There's no question that yesterday's announcement was incredibly exciting. I mean, everything that we've been doing at SpaceX kind of led up to that moment, and to think that, I'll be involved in getting humans to space, let alone all the way to Mars, it's extraordinary.
You work for Elon Musk, a very, very visionary leader. How has he made you do extraordinary work?
You want to do great work for him. He's so visionary and he pushes so hard, and I don't mean like every day he's pushing hard. It's just the things that he wants to do and the way he wants to drive the company. You want to keep up and you don't want to fall behind, and so you do great work. You are self-motivated to try to achieve the goals that he sets forth.
What's one thing you've learned from him in this role?
Think big. Think big.
Had you always been a big thinker?
I don't think so. I tend to focus on the kind of the here and now, and it's really important to solve problems for a longer term. I also have learned that he's rarely wrong, even if that's super irritating and it feels not right when you first hear what he wants to go achieve. And so if it doesn't sound like what you think we should be doing, I always stop and think, okay, we've been through this before. Think hard about what he's saying, what he's trying to achieve, and figure out how to make it work.
Describe the moment when you got asked to take on the role here as president.
It's a funny story. We were on the tarmac to fly to Houston to do final negotiations for the contract where the operational contract to serve the International Space Station with cargo. He asked on the flight down there, should we, you want to do this? And I loved my job at the time, so my gut initially for a nanosecond was, no, I really like my job. Maybe I'm not finished with that yet. And then I said, no, of course, yes, I want to do that. The launch business is incredibly exciting. It is probably one of the most nerve-wracking positions or nerve-wracking industries as well. You have over 1 million pounds of thrust with the rocket. Launching is a big moment, and critically, I'm launching satellites for, many of the executives at my customers are friends, are certainly long-term colleagues. And so you really want to make sure that that is not a disappointing moment for them.
Many of your launches have been successful, some haven't been, which is a nature of the business. Describe one of those moments where, there was that profound disappointment.
So it does feel like a gut punch when you see the rocket fall to pieces. The 3 failures we had with Falcon 1, we were really learning how to be a company and how to build rockets at that time. So those experiences are not like the Falcon 9 issue that we had last June. It felt surreal because, we were on such a roll. Things had been going so well. First of all, I thought telemetry was wrong. My video wasn't working. Telemetry was wrong. And then recognized that it was a failure. We lost the vehicle. There is kind of an automated mode you go into. I picked up the phone. I called a number of my customers. So you kind of go into a process, which is a bit of a nice diversion to just start that process. And so when we had our failure again this past September, that it was kind of practiced. The most important thing is to not look super stressed and super disappointed to your employee base. I think I did a better job on that last June than this most recent one, because the pressure is enormous right now.
If you were to write a letter to yourself of 20, 25 years ago, what advice would you have loved to know at that point in time in your career?
It's very important to take risks in your career. Take jobs that you would never have thought you would ever take. That's the way you move forward. I don't really play it safe when I look back at the career decisions that I've made. I think your first job out of school, it's important to think not about the money or the position, but think about where you feel like you need growth. Learning how to be successful at that particular role would be a nice building block, a good piece of infrastructure or foundation for your career. I would give this advice to anybody, and maybe it's more important for women and minorities, and that is just do great work. I believe that you get recognized when you do great work. Don't focus on the fringe bits. Don't focus on the negative. Just figure out what you're there to do and do a great job.